Every year around Christmas, competitors gear up for one of the toughest and most expensive events on the rallying calendar, the crossing of the Sahara Desert in the Paris-Dakar Rally. Taking part is every rally fan's dream, but few can afford it. It's because of this that Julian Knoll from Devon invented the Plymouth Dakar Challenge.
The aim is to get a £100 car all the way from Plymouth to Dakar in one piece, to survive the trip and then to fly home having given the car to charity. It really irritates me when you see, sign up for this rally, pay us a cheque for 9,000 quid, and it really excludes 90% of the British public who actually want to go on a rally. So this rally, the entry fee is £7.50. The cars are all worth 100 quid or less, and it's very casual, very relaxed. We don't know where we're going to stay each night, and that gives it a sort of sense of, excitement really. We know we want to get to Marrakesh for New Year's Eve and have a bit of a party in the campsite there. We then know that we've got to get to Gambia for our flights back about the 17th of January, and between those 2 points we're all a little bit blurry.
The rally only has two rules. You mustn't pay more than £100 for the car, and you mustn't spend more than £15 getting it ready. Before the start, Team Danger Weasels has already broken both rules.
Well, we started off with a bog standard £150 Lada Niva, and we spent about £2,000 getting it ready for the rally. It cost us an absolute bloody fortune, but as you can see, we have a full desert-prepared vehicle in front of us right now. No expense has been spared.
And he had the preparation.
We laugh in the face.
We laugh in the face. Preparations. I mean, I think it's a lot of fuss, really, isn't it, about nothing?
It's been a lot of talk about preparation.
Yeah, what have we? Preparation-wise, we booked the ferry, and we're going to paint the car at the weekend.
Other teams' preparations have a different emphasis.
Blessing of God Almighty, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit be with those who travel in this car and with the team now and forevermore.
Sarah writes erotic books.
This is our Bon Voyage party prior to our London Dakar Challenge rally.
The engine's the sweetest of nut. It's the one part of the car that we have absolutely no worries about whatsoever.
I'm nervous about everything. I'm the risk-shy part of the team.
I'm not quite as convinced that the engine is as sweet as Chris says it is. But,
oh, it is. It definitely is.
I'm losing sleep about the whole thing. Chris isn't, because he doesn't really understand what we're doing. He doesn't really even know what Africa is.
Tony is the weasel in the Danger Weasels.
I am Tony Weasel.
Which is where we got the name from. The Danger Weasels comes from Dave and Tony's nicknames. It's Dangerous Dave, and for Dangerous read Little John, and Tony is the Weasel, and my nickname is Fat Scout, so it doesn't really fit.
This is an opportunity to raise money for our four charities.
It's organic food, that's important.
Stephen is Sarah's co-driver. He's a wealthy celebrity hairdresser.
And lovely cappuccino, Cocoa Pops, so hopefully we won't be missing a thing.
It's called the Plymouth Dakar Rally, but most people didn't set off from Plymouth, and most people are not going to end up at Dakar.
Without an official start line, the teams have made their own way through Europe to Gibraltar.
We've only had one car blow up on the way here. I mean, that's incredible for a fleet of bangers. We've done 1,200 miles already.
oh. At last.
Yeah, it's been running really well.
Well, the brakes failed partially. Well, it wasn't no much problem, just crashed into the curb. But the fuel gauges started working now that Jim crashed into the back of us.
He drove into the back of us in Madrid, and everything's working fine since.
This is Team No Wiser. My brother is not here anymore because we had a fight last night outside a club. We had a fist fight outside a club.
Fist fight in Gibraltar. No visas, no food, no ticket home, basically.
It's an unlucky piece of wood that's just come off an olive tree. we broke it off on the way down. Whenever we say the car's going well, you've got to hold that.
We've got extreme ironing, extreme vacuuming.
I've got the attachment somewhere. We've got the patented toilet roll holder on the boot as well, but
Carrying on,
Teething problems. Starting problems and now cooling problems.
no actual money as such. A couple of grubby mags because we were told they were good for bribing people with, and 400 cigarettes.
And a bottle of gin.
And a bottle of gin.
But, along with a dozen others, Team No Wiser have forgotten to get visas for Mauritania.
We're going to go to Casablanca this evening. And,
maybe Rabat.
Or maybe Rabat, we're not actually sure yet. And just see if we can find the Mauritanian embassy tomorrow morning, first thing. But we don't know whether the embassy is going to be open. So if it's not open, we just have to wait and catch people up if we can. So.
The visaless team set off a day ahead of the rest of the rally.
So, fantastic turnout.
But organiser Julian isn't much more organised either.
The main meeting point is New Year's Eve at the campsite in Marrakesh. And there are only 2 campsites in Marrakesh. And it begins with F. Farouka, something funny.
So, with their destination no more precise than a campsite, which sounds a bit like a foot ailment, the next morning before sunrise, the teams are off to Africa. After the break, there's trouble with the law. It's a 30-minute ferry ride from Spain to Tangiers. For Team Niki Lauda, the excitement is all too much.
Probably more like 3 days through the sand rather than the beach. Yeah.
To get to Banjul, the teams will first have to travel down through Morocco, a distance of 1,500 miles on potholed and bumpy roads. At the border of Mauritania, they'll have to cross through minefields and then navigate their knackered cars 400 miles off-road across the Sahara Desert. The first challenge is the slow Moroccan bureaucracy. Some local guides try to help, while Team Niki Lauda are napping again as the wait for the passport stamp continues. While some border officials rest, others are hard at work.
Chris Barton.
Eventually, immigration control hand back the passports, but then it's the turn of the custom officials. One by one, the cars are allowed into Morocco.
About time. A little bit of bribery.
After a 2-day drive by Casablanca, the teams arrive in Marrakesh on New Year's Eve, ready for some sightseeing. Julian has driven into the town with the Latvian team to check out the snake charmers and the markets.
Trying to think of how to avoid buying anything. Look.
And whatever deal.
Nick's found a genuine Rolex for only £50. 2 hours later, the Rolex grinds to a halt. Team Danger Weasels are a bit wary of the food.
Do you want to eat?
No.
No, you don't want to eat.
Unfortunately, I had a McDonald's.
But Julian is more adventurous.
This is tripe, and it smells of sort of like the solution you put on car tyres when you've got a puncture.
My friend,
hello.
I asked him 20 dirham, she asked me 5. She take a piece out of me. You want like this, or on Saudi Arabia?
Go for it.
That is disgusting.
The Latvians have also found something they fancy. Their motivation for getting to Dakar is becoming clearer. As night falls, the teams meet up in the main square of Marrakesh for New Year's Eve, Moroccan style.
Okay, anyone for budgie? You want chili sauce?
After dinner, they gatecrash a local wedding at the only hotel in the town that serves alcohol. The party goes on into the night, but the next morning the teams are behind the wheel again, heading to the coast, arriving in Agadir. That evening, Steve, who's previously travelled all over Africa, voices some of his concerns to Julian about the upcoming dangers.
People can't seem to understand the concept of no roads. Well, there's a line on the map. There must be a road. Somebody has to take a little bit of responsibility for everybody rather than themselves.
Yes.
And at the moment it's I'm all right, Jack. And it's been all well and good up to now because it's been so easy. It can be extremely dangerous.
Yeah.
You know, if you get 5 kilometres to the left of the recognised piste and you break down, there's no helicopters, there's no search facilities. It will be down to the individuals to get themselves out.
Next morning, Hugh is tinkering with his 2CV.
I'm driving it back, and hopefully I shall be competing in the 24-hour 2CV race at Snitterton in June. Although I may have to do some, well, I have to do some modifications for it, obviously, but yeah, that's the plan. Let's get there first, eh? 1 or 2 modifications on the electrical front here. No real mechanical modifications to the car at all. Complete ignition cut out, decent Pioneer stereo, with a CD player going through it, all powered off a cigarette lighter socket. Phone's charging off that, obviously. Voltage inverter, which takes 12 volts and turns it back into 240. So that's for charging the phone, camera. Extra speaker down here, so we now have a 3-speaker system. Now, Triphonics never really caught on in this country, or in Britain, or in fact anywhere other than this car. So yes, that's it really.
Team Heavy are doing some serious work to their larder, and for a very good reason.
We have a genuine air conditioning unit. We haven't been using it. We are a bit concerned about fuel consumption, and the binding brakes, which we have hopefully just cured, may improve matters, and we may even be using it when we come to the desert.
Yeah, well, no, it's actually I'm getting more and more in every time. I'm beginning to think that I've left something behind. So I don't think I have, though.
Won't be able to get in yourself.
Exactly.
Just heard on radio, Home Master Road blocked with snow. All around here flooded bad. Nice. Not much snow around here.
That washing line, unfortunately, now has been pressed into service, holding the boot for the Hunter closed.
I don't know, it's really, I was quite worried about that. They really are collecting quite heavily on it, aren't they? They realise just what a piece of shit it really is.
For 2 days, the teams drive almost non-stop to get to Dakar. Ron has been clever enough to bring along his local mechanics, Alan and Nigel.
Yeah, we played a local darts team back home at Seaton, and that was how I knew about this. He wanted me to do some work on his larder, and kept on and said, well, you know, why don't you come along? And I pissed out one night and said, yeah, all right. So that was that. Here we are.
But further up the road, there are problems.
You're stopping everyone.
We got done for 400 dirhams speeding. Absolute expletive deleted. Apparently doing 85 kilometres and a 40 limit. Of course, it comes up just so fast, and it's just ridiculous in the middle of nowhere.
Even the tortoise has been pulled over.
You'll be noticing how we're getting very hot because we put rad weld in to make sure we had no radiator and gasket problems. Anyway, result of which is we've got the heater stuck on full, which was fine for, it was all fine for Northern Europe. Yeah, this is our only map so far.
This is what we use around that. It's all you need to find your way around Morocco. Perfect. And we're now, where have we got to now? Oh, Layoun. Luckily, somebody else in our group, we're travelling with 4 other friends, so at least they've got maps of these. We're sticking to the schedule quite well, aren't we? Yeah, we're trying to, for the minimum of preparation.
We only decided to come on the Monday before leaving on Boxing Day.
We can't see it. I have to tell him when the car's
with being left-hand drive, we have to...
Yeah. I suggested that you could sit in the middle seat.
Sort of a ballistics exercise.
My legs are long enough, I can sort of do that.
Overtaking with us is quite a ballistics exercise because it's so slow.
You look at those sand dunes as we were travelling yesterday, I thought, I don't want to be off this nice road at all.
By nightfall on the second day, all the teams have made it to Dakar for a well-deserved rest day.
This is roadkill.
God, don't see this. Still looks a bit bloody then.
Yeah, the thing is, I took the thermostat out of the engine so it doesn't get above 73 degrees centigrade. So this is baked lamb. With garlic. Is it petrol or diesel?
Butcher. Marinated in GTX. So today we get to rest and enjoy ourselves.
Dakar is a quiet and clean desert town. The rest day gives teams time to stock up on supplies.
Right, where was that jerry shop? It was near the garage, wasn't it? Yeah.
Believe it or not, we actually bottomed out on in town. We haven't even hit the rough stuff yet.
Is there only one way down here?
Right. Well, yeah. We were using a horn as the indicator in Casablanca. I think I managed to figure out, I think it's 1 beep for can I come in, 2 beeps for no, and he beeped back 3 is please can I come in.
And our boy. How did I manage to get us here? That was more luck than judgment, I think.
The danger weasels need a jerry can for the desert crossing.
So it's not going to die of thirst, mate.
The small town is soon full of dodgy English cars.
It's running sweet as a nut.
How about the germs? Did they sort theirs out? Yeah? Yeah. See you later.
Hugh's tinkering is getting a little bit out of control.
Had to tie a boot down with this cord just, yeah. lock, but not quite sure whether it's going to work or not. So that should click up like that, and then if I turn this, it should unclick. Bingo!
You're not really helping Ella. Yes, Ella. Got to let her do it herself. This is her first wheel change. She did do the
Usually
first
all that
two.
happens is that the bloody wheel nut breaks.
Oh, fantastic. It's brilliant.
Somebody's already loosened it.
That's not true. It's pretty easy, really. I do a lot on my bike, but I don't have a car, so I don't know how to do anything, even the basic things on cars.
No. Oh, glorious. How much snow have you got?
Yeah, just
Nothing. Oh, it's all gone, has it? Yeah. Okay. All right. Love you and leave you. Bye. 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 Snowing in England. Of all things.
Well, and maybe I can come back and visit it.
Tim is fiercely proud of his rusting Fiat Strada.
I wouldn't just leave it with anyone.
That's the point. It is a beautiful piece of Italian engineering to have a look at, isn't it? The tyres on the back there don't quite clear the arches. We were okay with a baby weasel in the back, then we had daddy weasel and it was a lot lower, and then James's rucksack was extremely heavy. I don't know what he's got in there, little Moroccan boys or something.
Yeah, and we'd be doing sort of 75, 80 down motorways in France and Spain, and sort of 65 on these roads, which I thought was unbelievable. The car's only 5 years old.
It's been a bit of a faff trying to get to, well, we packed everything 3 layers deep, trying to get to anything is a real pain. And when you do get to something, you can't find anything else because you can move all 6 kind of crap out of the way. Made to measure. Hoping to be able to barter. I got some very strange looks at the petrol station when I bought 3 copies of that.
Team Nowiser are worried about the strict Islamic laws of Mauritania. They pour all their gin into innocent-looking water bottles, hoping to fool any prying police or customs at the border. Jono and Fergus have been at a local garage since they arrived in Dakar yesterday.
Kind of broken a gearbox. We suddenly lost 5th gear for no reason at all, just cruising along in 5th, about 70 miles an hour.
Following Steve's advice, Julian holds a campsite meeting to warn people of the pending dangers. Everyone is present.
We have actually got no dropouts since Marrakesh. Every single person has made it here from Marrakesh, which is stunning. And
Big up your Mansons.
We've done about 2,800 miles already. Tomorrow night is Nouadhibou campsite. Then we've got probably 3 days on the rough track. How many people with GPSs? So quite 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, about 6 GPSs, which is pretty impressive. I don't know whether Steve is about.
I'd be very wary of GPS unless you've got a 4-wheel drive, to be honest.
Steve explains the limitations of GPS in the desert. He encourages everyone to hire a guide and travel in a 5-car convoy.
If your car breaks down, you have to decide what to do with that car as a group. If your car breaks down, you've got to jump in with the other 4 cars. If you lose 2 cars, you're in 3 cars, and so on and so on. There's a lot of old cars here. That's a lot. Yeah.
But it's absolutely vital that no one goes through any part of Mauritania by themselves, because this is the only life-threatening country on en route. And I don't want any deaths, because it'd be appalling publicity for next year's challenge. There are 1 or 2 stragglers. I think Fergus in the over there. Have you got problems with your gearbox?
Yeah, it's basically.
Fergus's car was never repaired. He and Jono flew on to the finish. Julian has initially promised a £15 prize for all the teams that finish the rally, but with so many cars still in the running, he is purposely avoiding the subject.
Campsite round campfire.
And the £15 for every team that makes it.
The other way round.
Finest dirhams in Morocco.
Team No Wiser attempt to get rid of the last of their Moroccan currency.
All right, mate. Don't you worry, son. Don't you worry, son. We'll sort you out. Yeah, we'll still want some. Very complimentary.
The Belgravia couple. I mean, where are they? They're five-star hotel.
Sure enough, in Dakla's only 5-star hotel.
Have they been sort of lavishing it up that we're staying at grand hotels and that we probably won't adapt to the camping? Because in fact we had a very unpleasant experience in the hotel that we were staying in, which was absolutely fabulous. We ordered a salad, and in the centre of this wonderful crispy green salad with wonderful tomatoes was a lamb's brain. And I looked at it and I poked it with my finger and I knew exactly what it was, and I looked at him and I said, "What's that?"
I thought it was a fish.
I knew what it was, and I just said, "You're going to have to take the salad away." I don't care how rude it comes across. There's no way that I'm swallowing anything that doesn't make me happy.
Our only real breakdown was this morning when the clutch started to go. You know, when it's not biting. Not at a garage, just a regular petrol station. Man couldn't have been more helpful. And the clutch is better now than it was before. Because before it was a bit bitey, a bit sharp. Now it's as smooth as a Rolls Royce.
Relearn 15.
Then we can price it.
We've got our camping supplies, and we brought with us an awful lot of tins of tuna. We buy fresh bread. All the bits, I'm sure, that's exactly the same as everyone else. A case of champagne. And a bottle of vintage port, which we haven't opened. We haven't touched that, no. No, it's fantastic. Really, really enjoying ourselves.
And the car is going so well, apart from the technical hitch that I told you before, just about the adjustment
Just
on the clutch.
the clutch was slipping,
She's
that's
going
all.
so beautifully, isn't she?
We've really been lucky with the car, touch wood.
Chin chin, Mr. Kermit. Chin chin. Yes, it's to Nouadhibou or bust. There's a stool over there.
The next morning, the teams are due to leave Dakar for the 250-mile drive to the border of Mauritania. That's where the tarmac finishes. But they face another potentially deadly challenge. They have to cross an unmarked minefield in no man's land between the two countries. After the break, Julian's enthusiasm is waning. After the cold desert night, everyone is slow to get up.
At least I didn't roll in. Although I do smell rather lovely.
But disaster has struck for Sarah and Stephen. Their clutch, which was as smooth as a Rolls Royce, has actually worn away completely.